man. All right. Let's get right to it. It's episode 564 of the Sold Not For Sale podcast. And this morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about my prediction that Oliver Anthony is going to be on the JRE. Because I saw him in Texas, and I was like, oh, he's in Texas. They're not saying anything, but I know what that means. And then, boom, all of a sudden, Oliver Anthony was on JRE. They had a great discussion, and it was very interesting. It's always very interesting because you would look at this person. So many people think of this man as a voice for the people, a voice of a generation, right? And when you're a voice of a generation, you're automatically put on a pedestal, you know? And to hear this conversation focus so much on mental health, you know, I knew he was going to focus on, you know, the working class people and what people are going through. And I thought it was just going to be a lot of that, a lot of like anti-establishment talk. But Oliver kept it in the realm of mental health and discussing his struggles with that. And then also talking about his encounter, I guess you can say, with God, or his testimony, or how he came to be, you know, a believer, you know. And in this episode, I'm going to be showing you a clip of Oliver Anthony reading the Bible to Joe Rogan. And another very interesting thing is, you know, episode 2009 with Duncan Trussell, they read the book of Revelation. They discuss the mark of the beast because Duncan Trussell brings it up. Then we had another conversation with a gentleman, a doctor, I believe his name was Steven. Then there was another conversation recently, which I showed you, with Hulk Hogan. Well, Hulk Hogan brings up his testimony and how he believes in God. And now Oliver Anthony comes on and he puts a big focus on God as well. And it makes me think of someone in the comments actually saying that they've been praying for Joe, that Joe comes closer to God. And when I read that, I'm a Christian, but I was like, that's a crazy person. So, you know, I just discarded it. But that person might have done something. I don't know. They might have pulled something off. Whoever that was, pray for me as well. You got a strong prayer out there. Whoever that was, if you remember saying that, hit me up in the comments. We need to do a prayer session, me and you. Because Papa needs $1 million. Like, please help me out here. But let's get into that episode because it's really interesting. Like Oliver Anthony's he's really easy to bear all. And I think that's because there's no PR with him. There's no one running his social media. You know, when you're famous for 20 years, there's a certain mask that gets put on. But when you just have this rise to fame out of nowhere, you're still a person. You're still exposed in that way. Nobody has told you that you need to cover up this and keep that close to your chest and not speak on this topic. So it's a very authentic conversation, and I loved watching it. Let's just go to the store real quick before I bring you over to that clip. This is IamCoachColin.com, where we got your certified pure blood shirt for those of you that survived the pandemic, unscathed, untainted, stay strong over the next 6 months. Another test is upon us. The Public Enemy #1 shirt, and if you don't know who this is, I say it all the time. Google Agenda 2030, Google the World Economic Forum, take in some information about this gentleman, and you'll understand right away why we've branded him Public Enemy #1. And we also have the presidential mugshot. Oh, the former leader of the free world, coming back again to save the people. You all know who that is. You can get it all at IamCoachColin.com. And if you want 10% off of anything you just saw, no email required. We're not doing any of that. I'm just giving you a code right now. It's I am Coach Colin. That's it. You put it in. It's all capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin. And that gets you 10% off. It's on us. It's on us. Don't even worry about it. And if you've already used that code with us before, thank you so much. You have no idea how much your support means. Now let's get into this clip.
Well, I'm good now. That's what's so funny. Like, since this has all happened, haven't had I'm telling you again,
because you're on top of the world.
Well, yeah, but even before it, I have to be careful with what I say because I don't my shit stinks. Like, I'm nobody special and I'm not here to preach to anybody, but I'm telling you, like, giving things to God, for me, alleviated 99% of what, like, I had a, like, I don't know how to describe it, but when you experience, and I mean, you've done things that I haven't, like with DMT and all, and that stuff's very intriguing to me. And so I'm open-minded to all that as well. Like, I'm not, but yeah, like I had, when I kind of had this breakdown moment and decided that I was going to let whatever ego I had go, and just at this point, it's like I knew I didn't have much left in for me anyway, and I wanted to serve whatever purpose it was that I was here to serve. It's like you get this just overwhelming feeling in you. I was just crying like a baby, just this very like warm feeling throughout me, and that really hasn't gone away since. Like I'm not the guy that can play in front of 12,000 people on guitar. I would be like, I mean, I had never played a paid gig. When we played the show at the farm market where Jamie Johnson showed up, that was my first paid gig. Like, I'm not a guy to go out and play live shows, but I can tell you I was so like, I was just so at peace being up there. Like, it just felt like that's where I was supposed to be. And with all of this, it has been like, there's no way that Chris from 6 months ago could handle what's gone on the last 2 weeks, but I feel just so empowered from all of it. And I don't know. I'm telling you, like, again, I'm not anybody special, and I'm certainly not here to preach to anybody, but just from coming from somebody who was just in a really just fucked up place, like, and I use that word like with discretion, but in this case, it describes like where I was. Like, that guy found a lot of peace, like, from this book and from
looking at things in a different way.
Yeah,
from looking at things through the eyes of Scripture.
And I think for me, it was like I'd been in church growing up, and I'd been exposed to all of that, but I'd found a lot of theatrics and a lot of politics in church and in religion when I was younger, and so it just immediately turned me off to it.
So if you can, take us to, like, what was, like, the day you picked it up? What was the feeling that you had? Like, what caused you to act? What was it like when you did it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been reading it here and there, off and on, and I had for, like, off and on for a long time, like, because I was introduced to it as a kid, but it was really just like, I remember I went to the ER for everything that was going on. I mean, I thought I was seriously going to die. Like, I was having shooting pains up under my jaw, down in my wrist and my leg, like just cardiovascular 101 symptoms. Of course, I'm 31. I had been like, I could run 4 miles without stopping, no problems. Like, I knew my heart was strong, but
I just freaking out.
Yeah, but I went and did that, and I remember being in the truck after that, just like, and I just had a breakdown moment. I was just crying, and was just. I just felt hopeless, like almost the way a child feels hopeless when they, like, you can't find your parent or something, like a 4-year-old that can't find his parents or something. I was just like, just didn't have anything left in me, and I don't know. I just decided, like, right then and there, I was like, I know I can't do this anymore, but I know that I can. I know there's things that I need to do, and I just told God, I was like, just let me do it, like, and I'll give all this shit up. I'll give up the weed, and I'll quit getting drunk, and I'll quit being so angry about things, and I'll just, like, I'll just call it good. Whatever I've done up from up until I was 30 or whatever, 31, like, we'll just call that good, and I'll start over again, and I'll make him the focus and not me. And I just tried to let my ego and everything that I was, just let that go and just focus on, because obviously, like, it's not just me. I've seen it with even other people I know, and I see it with celebrities and everything, but I don't know. I just feel like we're in such a weird place right now in the world that I feel like God's working inadvertently through certain people to get his point across.
So take me to what you did. Did you start reading the Bible? Like, what did you do?
I just changed my perspective.
You changed.
I quit worrying about me, and I started worrying about what it is that I'm supposed to do. Like, it talks in the Bible about being a servant, and giving up, I guess, my desire and my will and whatever it is that I want to do. Like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's about trying to use what I have as a tool versus doing what I can in the moment to give myself whatever satisfaction that it is I'm trying to get. It's about trying to let go of your ego, I guess, in a way. And I mean, people pursue that mentality without faith. I mean, it's the idea of there being something bigger than you. But I think inherently all human beings idolize something. Like, it talks in the Bible about false idols. We all have false idols, like whether it's our phone or it's a celebrity or it's something we do or it's our addiction to food or drugs or whatever. But, like, it's very difficult for a human to be the biggest thing on their hierarchy. There's always something above us, right? Because we're always in pursuit of something bigger than whatever it is in that moment. And I think for me, it was just about taking everything else, all the distractions and all the other things in my life away, and just ensuring that at least, and look, we all sin and we all do stupid things. Like, we're all just people. Nobody's special or righteous. People sometimes act like they're special and righteous, but we're all just the same thing. Like, but it's just about trying to make that my idol. Make God and the concept of what it is that he wants done on this earth my idol versus anything else. You know, like, we all serve some master, whether we realize it or not. So why not let it be the master that is above all?
And so when you made this transformation in your mind, did you then start reading scripture like regularly? Like, what did you start doing?
Yeah, well,
that was different.
Well, what really, I guess it's like, now I don't read it. I don't read it because I feel like I should read it to be a better person. It's like, now I try to read it for the guidance within it. And I'm still in the infancy stages of a lot of this. Like, I've read a lot of Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes, and Luke, and there's other good books, but just trying to, I don't know, like, trying to restructure, I guess, on a granular level, like, I guess the neural pathways in my brain that have certain habits and certain ways of thought, like, I've tried to retrain that to, you know, like, there's things it says, like, and I'll be very brief with this, I promise, but, like, one thing, ironically, it's Proverbs 4:20, which I thought you would like. So if there's anything better.
Perfect.
But,
read it. Preach.
My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart. For they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free from perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. But
that's pretty fucking profound.
But the whole book of Proverbs is like that. Like, it's not preachy. It's not what you think. Like, it's good guidance. It's like good guidance that you would want a father to give to his son, you know?
What do you think it comes from? Like, if you had to guess, where do you think the Bible comes from? Like, it was an oral tradition for who knows how many years before they ever wrote it down.
Yeah.
What do you think these stories come from?
Well, I believe that people come across in different points of time, and I think they are given messages that need to be delivered. And I'm not in any way trying to parallel me to anyone in any of these books by any means, but I do think that throughout history, like, even beyond from what's been written in this Bible, there's been important people that came along and said important, or maybe not even important people. Sometimes it's the lowly of the low that come along and just say things that need to be said. And if I could, to me, it's like, there's no question that this is an intelligent planet we live on, in an intelligent solar system. Everything is just much more immense than any human on Earth would admit. Like, even people in science, so much of science is based on theory. Like, it's this very elegantly written way of thinking, but it ultimately, if you take it down to its, like, on a granular level, it's all in many ways based on theory. And so I think the Earth is far more intelligent than we realize, and the systems that we live in. Like, I just don't think somebody just pulled all that out of thin air. I do think that, and maybe it's, I've been waiting for my time to bring up the aliens, but anyway, but no.
Man, I appreciate this guy, man. He has some real deep stuff to say. I always, I love a guy that's been saved by any religion, really. You know, I had the same thing not growing up. It was like 2 years ago. I had the exact same thing. Just didn't have any more in me. Was doing drugs all the time. Couldn't stop. And I needed help. And it was the worst. And I just decided to start praying. And I said, God, I need some people around me who aren't involved in that type of stuff. I need some good people around me. And the next day, a random person messages me. I didn't tell anybody. A person messages me on Instagram, says they're a part of a Christian men's group. They want to know if I want to join League Alliance. Shout out to League Alliance. And that was it. And it was a shock. And then I stopped doing drugs. I had some relapses and falters, and my thing was just weed. That was all I was really into. I never liked drinking, but I had some relapses here and there, but I'm good. It's been like 10 months. So it happens for people, and it's always amazing when it does. And I don't care, myself, I don't care what religion it happens to you with. If you move closer to Judaism, good for you. You move closer to Islam, good for you. You move closer to Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever you're into. If it all of a sudden brings you into a space where you're focusing on integrity and values and putting something above yourself and trying to serve like you're not the most important thing, then good for you, man. That's amazing. It's an amazing conversation that they have. and they don't explore any crazy topics. I thought they would get really deep into some like government agencies type stuff. They don't really. They stay within the mental health realm. They touch on the working class people. They discuss a lot about where Oliver's from, where his music comes from, the success that he's going through now. Just conversation like that. They didn't even go for like that long. They went for 2.5 hours, although I know that's long for some people to listen to podcasts. I understand completely. That's why I'm bringing you these clips. But incredible that this guy got saved. And he's talking some intelligent stuff about the planet being more intelligent than we know. I 100% believe that. 100%. I think the people who regard themselves as experts, I think they're a little too smart for their own good. And I think when you get to a certain expertise level, you start to get a little cocky and kind of discard any other theories, because you're like, I've already proven this, and we only discuss this, and double blind study that. And we've seen where that gets us over the past 4 years. Am I right? I'm just saying, we've seen where that gets us sometimes. But very interesting that Joe is not trying to have these conversations about God, but they're just kind of coming to him. And the thing about it is, I could go the route of saying, maybe God's trying to talk to Joe, but also, I mean, maybe God's trying to talk to somebody out there. Maybe there's a couple of people who heard this story with Oliver Anthony, and they're down in the dumps as well, and they need to turn it around, and they can't figure it out. And maybe they don't turn to religion, but they just get inspired and push through and clean themselves up. I would love that. That's what podcasts did for me, 100%. So if that's happening with anybody right now, say it in the comments. If you're down right now, say it in the comments. If you're going to turn it around right now, say it in the comments. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. And I want to see it. Because Oliver's just a regular guy. 100% just a regular guy. No one's higher than the all-powerful. And like he said, everybody's shit kind of stinks, Can't put yourself above anybody, even if you are the most devout Christian or, the most solid Muslim out there. You're doing your prayers 5 days a week. It doesn't make you better than anybody. You're just kind of doing what we all should be doing, which is serving a higher power and serving our brothers, which is like everybody, and sisters, But yeah, very interesting conversation. Like the video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And let me know what you thought of Proverbs 20:20. I feel like there's a little touch. I feel like Oliver chose that one as a little touch towards what's been going on with him and the attacks that he's been going through. The way that people have been trying to push him to the right, the way that he's been kind of being attacked by the left, and the way that he says that he's center when it comes to politics. I think that's why he chose that, because at the end of that verse it says, don't look to the right or the left. Like keep your gaze, straight. And I don't think that means stay in the center of politics, but it might mean something that I've said before, which is, focus on the government as a whole. If you ever want to tackle the problem, it's usually both sides benefit from us fighting. And don't get me wrong, I'm right here in it. I've been making videos about the left all day because I do see that there is an ideology and a mindset that they have that is, for lack of better words, doing no good to society, destroying things in the name of tolerance. I'll be honest, that's how I feel. So it's hard for me to just be like I'm in the center when I see stuff like that going on. But if you're capable, you should, because it'll do you better to stay focused on both sides and their wrongdoings and their right doings. Because even people on the left have something good going on. It's just very hard to see it while they attack the country from it. All right. Let me pull away from that. Anyways, guys, other than that, I am out.